friends, so typed notes versus handwritten notes, that is the question. I have gone back and forth a few times trying to figure out what works best for me, and I can tell you that I have found that lugging my laptop around from class to class just was not for me, so I found a solution that worked best. If you watch any of my other videos, I have mentioned a few times that coming home and typing my notes out is one of my favorite ways to study. In this video, I'm going to be giving a few tips on typing out your notes, but also a few on why handwriting them first is your best option. So let's start first with handwriting your notes and the benefits of this. So handwriting your notes helps you learn better, retain the information longer, and it will also help you grasp any new ideas or concepts a little bit faster. The problem of only using your laptop is that since we can write out what the teacher is saying at a faster rate, we aren't really thinking about what is being said, so we're not really pulling out the important details like we would when we're handwriting it. There have actually been studies done that prove what I just said, and I will link some of those articles that I found down below. Now on to typing your notes and how I made this work for me and how I organize my notes when I type them. After each class, I would come home, take a break for a few hours, and then pull out my notes and go over them. I will usually highlight the parts that I want to get a better understanding on and maybe pull out the book as well. My next step would be to sit down and start typing out the notes that I had handwritten. Some people might think this is silly, that you've already written out your notes, but for myself this is just another way to make sure I'm understanding the material. So now on how I organize my typed notes, just remember everyone is different. This technique may not work for you, so make sure you try other ways if it is not something you are interested in doing. At the top of the page, I will always put all of the keywords from that lecture or chapter with a brief definition or example that will help me. I sometimes try and relate the keywords to my own life so it's easier to remember. I will also color code the keywords based off of the different concepts that are talked about in the chapter, or sometimes I will figure out a different way to color code. It just really depends on what I'm feeling like that day. As I move down, I just start going through my handwritten notes. I will try to group similar ideas together. If a concept has 5 steps, I will make sure they stay together, even if it's sectioned off in the book. This way, when the test comes and I'm having to create a study guide, it will be easier for me to gather the information. If within those sections I am using one of the keywords that I had listed above, I will make sure to highlight it accordingly to my color key. One of the reasons I like typing out my notes after lecture is because when you're sitting there typing out a certain section, some of the information that you hadn't written down earlier might pop back into your head and you'll be able to add it to your typed notes. I will also always have my book out when retyping my notes. This way I can write down any examples or a clearer explanation of the concept. Even if I've already read the chapter, I will usually reread the section I am writing notes on to make sure I'm actually understanding it and not just copying. The last thing that I do for typing my notes is to create a section at the bottom for a summary and main points of the lecture. I will also write out a few questions at the bottom I am hoping to have answered before the test comes. In the end, it is up to you with what works best. If you only want to take typed notes, then do that. If you only want to do handwritten, then do that. Or if you don't want to take notes at all, then go for it, I guess. But this method was something that I didn't always do, and once I did, I started seeing a significant difference in my grades and also felt more prepared for tests. I was actually understanding the material versus just memorizing it. So if you have any tricks or tips you want to share about taking notes, please leave them down below, and thank you for watching.